Greater Sandton and beyond. Get ready for the SANDTON Times Hour
with your host,
Alexander.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, this is the SANDTON Times Hour on Mix 93.8 and also available on all good podcast platforms. I'm Alexander Leipner and this is edition 114. It's week 20 of 2023. We're halfway through May and I'm excited to be with you again. If you would like to send through your questions, your comments, or your feedback, you can do so using the email address editor@sandtontimes.co.za. Social media, you can connect with us there on @SANDTONTimes. You can visit the website www.sandtontimes.co.za. And if you're listening live on Mix 93.8 for the next hour, well, the WhatsApp line is open on 0848 220938, 0848 220938. And a special welcome to everyone listening in the dark, in transit, online or on air, wherever you are in South Africa or in the world. I'm happy to report that all is well in Sandton land, and I'm joined once more by my man behind the mixing desk, Vincenzo. And Vincenzo, thanks for bringing that bottle of Prosecco, because yes, this week marks our 1-year anniversary on Mix 93.8. Wow. A whole year, 12 months have passed. So if you just want to quickly open that, Vincenzo, let's just get the festivities going. Oh, here's glasses. All right, let's pour those. Fantastic, thank you. Oh, that looks just enough. I think that's just enough, just to toast. And let me just grab the glasses there. So cheers to that, ching ching, and here's to many more shows and to our next year. There we go. Cheers, Vincenzo. Right, just messed on the mixing desk. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, there's going to be an email about that tomorrow morning. You do realize that, so you better clean that up. Moving along swiftly while you clean that up, it was also Mother's Day yesterday, so happy Mother's Day to everyone who celebrated this past weekend, and those belated well wishes are well earned. Keep fulfilling that important job that you do as a mother, that important role that you do. And I hope you were spoilt and you had a wonderful, wonderful day. Right, let's have a look at what's on the show this week. And a local entrepreneur has walked away with one of whiskey's most notable titles. And because it's also World Whisky Day this week, we thought, why not get him on the show? Then if you've ever fussed about what to wear to what occasion, well, there's a new show on at the Theatre on the Square in Sandton just for you. I'm going to be finding out a bit more. After that, I'm joined by a restaurateur whose restaurant has received numerous awards and has a few new menu items that we're going to check out. So let's stay tuned for that. And finally, this choir is making its way to Italy, but they are treating Sandton audience to one more show before they go. This and more is coming up shortly. And if you subscribe and listen to the podcast every week, well, there's also a little something extra for you on the show this week. And it includes a local travel hack you don't want to miss. Headlines are coming up in a minute, but first, let's get the hour going with our opening track.
Promote your brand. Advertise your business.
Our audience could be your next client. Contact the SANDTON Times today.
The latest news.
The biggest names.
The best destinations.
The hottest entertainment. This is the SANDTON Times Hour.
This is the SANDTON Times Hour on Mix 93.8 with Sweden's Loreen and Euphoria. And if that sounded familiar, well, she just won the Eurovision Song Contest for a second time this past weekend with her new track, Tattoo. And, Euphoria was her first win around 10 years ago. And, I think it's a fitting start to the hour. It's not ABBA, but hey. Right, time for your headlines for this week. Right, in an effort to curb the ongoing frustration and risks associated with non-functioning traffic lights at intersections in Sandton, the private sector has once again stepped in to assist, this time with the Traffic Signal Secondary Power Initiative. How's that for a long word for something quite straightforward? Sandton Central Management District, Johannesburg Road Agency and Investec announced the new initiative that will see traffic lights at major intersections in Sandton Central operate throughout load shedding, utilizing generator power sourced from adjacent building owners, and in this case, it'll be Investec. All the details are up on the Sandton Times website if you want to read the full story and which traffic lights will be assisted. And I think they're hoping to get a couple of more building owners and a couple of more traffic lights connected. Then I see Woolworths, in partnership with DSV and Everelectric, is the first South African retailer to embark on an extensive rollout of electric panel vans to deliver their customers' online purchases, and this includes Greater Sandton. So, the Woolworths online electric delivery vehicles drive an average of 150 kilometers to 220 kilometers per day, and they are limited to a top speed of 120 kilometers per hour. I believe this is the new way to go, and I believe they also get recharged with solar panels overnight, so if there's load shedding, whatever, that sorts that problem out. And they can also be controlled remotely, which is very interesting. So if there's any shenanigans going on the road, I believe they can just intervene there, and they can sort of bring those to a halt. Well, let's leave the headlines right there for this week. World Whisky Day is coming up later this week, which coincides with my next guest, who built up a beautiful whiskey retail business over the past 10 years, having started, much like we did, as a single Twitter account. I'm joined by Marc Pendlebury, founder and co-owner of WhiskyBrother, right after the break.
The best of Sandton and beyond.
You're listening to the SANDTON Times Hour.
It's a good question because lots of people have asked us that, what are you going to do going forward?
That's a great question.
It's a critically important question.
Such a great and interesting question.
I have not even thought about that until you've just said it.
You're listening to the SANDTON Times Hour.
This is the SANDTON Times Hour on Mix 93.8 and also available on all good podcast platforms. And as we get this week's edition off the ground, I'm excited to be talking about the next topic. It's got something to do with whiskey, something that I really enjoy. And I think there's a special bond that whiskey drinkers enjoy. It's just, I don't know, I think there's sort of like a special vibe that they have. And one of those is Marc Pendlebury. He's the founder and co-owner of WhiskyBrother. And Marc, it's great to have you on the SANDTON Times Hour.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Marc, I mean, we're going to talk on a myriad of different things because there's so much to talk about. But let's kick it off with WhiskyBrother. Some people might have seen some of your outlets. Tell us about the business. How did it get started? Where is it at now?
Yes, so WhiskyBrother came from humble origins, based on a Twitter account of mine. When I was discovering my love and passion for whiskey, I think as you mentioned, there's a bond with amongst whiskey drinkers. And for me, it was about trying to reach out and kind of tap into the community, the fellow drinkers. And I think for many people, you get to a stage in your whiskey journey, so to speak, where you just want to try new things and you want to share and you want to learn and you want to taste, etc., and talk. And for me, that part of that outlet was jumping on social media, on Twitter, which was fairly young at the time, and finding a bit of voice for myself. That then graduated over the coming months to a blog, just a WordPress whiskey blog called WhiskyBrother. And it was through that blog over the preceding few years that I really kind of tapped into a community, and I felt to some degree I built up a community around WhiskyBrother, kind of blog and the brand as well. And I was a frustrated whiskey consumer. I was tired of spending my hard-earned corporate money, and I had a budget every month. So after payday, I'd head to a general bottle store with my 500 Rand and my whiskey book, and I'd pick a whiskey. And I had a few friends in a whiskey club, and we were all doing the same thing. But I was a bit frustrated because there was brands I was reading about online and on Twitter that I couldn't access. I would go to stores and nobody knew their whiskey from their, cognac. Yeah. And you couldn't call ahead and ask for a brand because most of the people answering the phone just, they didn't share my passion or have any knowledge on the material, on the topic. And so I just thought, whiskey shops exist overseas. Joburg is a big enough market. There's enough followers and readers that some of them would be like me and choose to support this type of establishment. I did what I needed to do to raise some capital. I sold my car, I quit my job, I cashed in my provident fund, I raised a bit of money, and I started WhiskyBrother in Hyde Park, and that's now over 10 years ago.
Unbelievable. How many stores have you got now?
So we've got 3 stores in Joburg. In the last 2 years, we've opened 2 more stores. So post-COVID, we had plans pre-COVID. That was put on hold. So 2021, we opened our second store. 2022, we opened our third. We have a dedicated whiskey bar in Morningside, which has over 1,500 different whiskies available for tasting. And then we of course have an online store that ships nationally.
Well, I've been to your store in Morningside, and I've had some really, really different and some really great whiskey tastings there. And it is a fantastic way of actually just exploring different whiskies, because like you say, you might not want to commit to going into a store and buying an entire bottle because you fear that you might not like it, but to be able to go somewhere and have a variety of different whiskies and kind of see what you like and what you don't like, if it's too peaty or if it's a little bit too strong or too weak or whatever, and then you can kind of commit to getting an entire bottle. I think that's a really great offer, and I'm sure it's very popular with your clientele.
Yeah, and yes, agree fully with your sentiment. And it's not. Sometimes it's kind of try before you buy, of course. But there's also, each of us only have so much budget for what we enjoy, right? And even if you have a big budget, well, you still can't afford to buy every whiskey that comes to market. It's a fast-moving industry. There's lots of new releases. Some of them come and go too quickly, so you may not even have the chance to buy a bottle. But at least you can taste it at the bar and say, "Oh, I like that. Or I didn't like that. It was." And you can tick it off your list.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another great milestone for you, having come from where you started to having these fantastic outlets, is that you've just won the Global Multiple Outlet Retailer of the Year at the 2023 Icons of Whisky, which was announced in London by the Whisky magazine. And I mean, that is a tremendous title to receive. I mean, it's like the Oscars of the whiskey world.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we're still quite stunned, about our victory. We're obviously ecstatic and quite proud and humbled at the same time. So, I mean, I never would have thought 10 years ago on Twitter that this is what we would surmount to, so to speak. And for me, the future's bright. We still have plenty of ideas. We still have plenty of drive. It's not like we're old fuddy-duddies and giving up on the business. Like, there's so much we want to do. So 10 years in to win this award is I think a good pat on the back. We've had some tough years with COVID behind us. So, it's a great victory for the team, for the brand, and I think for South Africa too.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we got World Whisky Day coming up on the 20th of May. So I thought, well, while I've got you on, let's get someone's expert insight and expert suggestions on 5 whiskies we should go and try that we might have never tried before. Mark, I'm going to put you out there, put it on the spot, and see what you've got for us.
Sure. The first thing I would say before I list 5 is that, well, if you don't know, you will learn one day. Whiskey is subjective. We all like different things, right? But just off the cuff, 5 whiskeys I'd recommend right now, which I'm finding just good value for money or good drinking or new and interesting. There is a new release by Ntambo that's just arrived in South Africa. Ntambo is a Speyside single malt producer. They are known for their more sherry cask influenced whiskey. So there's a Ntambo 18 on the market. These are for the individuals that need a bottle for a special occasion. It's full-bodied, beautiful color, spicy, chocolatey, coffee, just wonderful stuff. Particularly now as we're heading into winter, this is your fireside whiskey.
Okay.
So that's Ntambo 18. The next one, for more maybe those on a tighter budget, I would recommend Speyburn 10-year-old. Speyburn is also a Speyside producer. They're a little bit less known in this market. They're often overshadowed by the bigger brands that we could all rattle off, but very similar to kind of your typical Glens, so to speak. So you're looking at more of a balance of flavor, slightly more fruity, a little bit more sweetness, no spice, no smoke. Very easy to like, very well priced at 500 Rand a bottle.
Okay, Speyburn 10, okay.
Next, I'm going to go with something a little bit off the beaten path here. I'm going to go down to Campbelltown, which is a peninsula off the west coast of Scotland. Campbelltown is a famed whiskey region in Scotland, but not that well known. I'm going to recommend the Glen Scotia Campbelltown Festival release.
Okay.
This is a cask strength release. It is finished in PX Pedro Jimenez sherry hogsheads, meaning it's got a soft smoke to it, and then a little bit of kind of coastal notes, a little bit of bonfire notes, and rich spices with that peat coming through.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, we've got 3, so we've got 2 more.
2 more. I'm going to go proudly South African here. For our 4th one, I'm going to go with the new release from Booplas. Some South African drinkers may not know, Booplas are now producing whiskey. They're obviously known for their brandy, their port, their sherry. They've got wines. They now make whiskey, and they've just released their first single malt. So it's a single cask release. It's a 6-year-old. It's a limited release and absolutely stunning. And it's the first time we've seen a single malt from Boerplaas, because prior to this, the only whiskey they've done is single grain, which is a different style, a different ingredient.
Okay.
So this is also finished in Groot Constantia Grand Constance late harvest barrels. So there's a nice wine connection there. That's recommendation number 4.
All right. And then what's your final one?
Number 5. Let's go again to a new world whiskey producer. I'm going to go with Kavalan from Taiwan. There is a Kavalan single cask solus release matured in ex-bourbon casks. Cask strengths are high alcohol, very vanilla, toffee, syrupy, and it will change people's perception of what new world whiskey producers can do, because it is absolutely phenomenal.
Amazing. Well, if you didn't get all of those, we're going to put them up on the SANTON Times website right after the show, so you can go check those out. Something there for World Whisky Day on the 20th of May, something new to try. I certainly haven't heard or tried any of these, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Marc Pendlebury, founder and co-owner of WhiskyBrother. It's been such a pleasure having you on the SANTON Times.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Well, it's the bottom of the SANTON Times hour on Mix 93.8. It's time for a quick musical break, and we're going to carry on with the show right after this.
Back for more?
The SANTON Times Hour continues.
You're listening to the SANTON Times Hour on Mix 93.8 with Dimer and No Lie. Taking you into the second half of the SANTON Times Hour, my name is Alexander Leipner, and you know how this works. If you listen regularly to the show, if there's anything that sounded good during the show, but you didn't get all the information, you didn't write it down, you missed some details, well, don't stress. All the information will be up on the show notes on the santontimes.co.za, and you can get a detailed breakdown of everything that we've discussed on this week's edition. And also be sure to check out the social media accounts at SANTON Times, and feel free to engage on those with a tweet, a post, a WhatsApp, whatever, a DM, whatever works for you. And you can also use the hashtag SANTON Times Hour. Now, the dress code is a new performance that is coming to the Theatre on the Square in Sandton. It's a chic comedy musical review that explores the fascination with fashion and the often humorous issues related to what we wear. And I can tell you, I just had a situation like that recently, so it couldn't have come at a better time. And to chat to me about this new performance is performer Ntambo Rapatla. And she stars alongside Sharon Spiegel-Wagner and Laurie Strauss. And Ntambo, it's great to have you on the SANTON Times Hour. Tell us a little bit more about the dress code. How did this performance come about?
Thank you so much, Alexander. This is just a stylish comedy, a review musical. 3 women from 3 different walks of life discussing what they prefer wearing. So, for example, Laurie likes heels, I like wedges, Sharon likes Crocs. And somebody might think Crocs are not the it, but at the end of the day, what you wear doesn't define you. It just refines you. And comfort is key, so that's what we discuss in the show. And we just get to really unpack. For example, people think wearing black makes you look thin, and it's not. If you're big, you're big. Just wear something that looks good on you. So that's basically what we discuss in the show, and it's just comedy, and we laugh and have fun and sing a few songs.
I'm with you. Listen, I'm a late convertee to Crocs, and I must tell you, I feel like...
Darling, you should.
Oh, let me tell you, I feel like I've joined a whole new world of people who now wear...
Yeah,
not
comfort,
all of them.
Comfort.
But some of them. I mean, some of the Crocs are quite tremendous, actually, to wear. But we won't give away all our...
one with the big heels.
Well, we're not going to give away all our secrets. But listen, I mean, this must have come out of a deep insight of some sort. I mean, how did you ladies come about deciding to bring this together and make this a public discussion as to, what we all like and how we like it?
So my lovely friends, Sharon and Laurie, I think sat together and decided to bring about this show. And then when they brought me on board, obviously I had to then bring what I find comfortable and what speaks to me in terms of fashion. And the beautiful thing is that all 3 of us are so different, then which makes it so easy for people to relate. I had people wearing Crocs, we had other people wearing wedges. We talk about beige being the new color, and we had a lot of people wearing beige. as well in the audience. So it's current, it's fresh, it's new. And the fact that we move with the times, but at the same time, we are still true to ourselves. I think that's what makes it so relatable to everybody else.
And I'm assuming that the songs that you perform are all related to fashion. I mean, I'm not going as far as Madonna's Vogue, but I'm assuming it's somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, some of the songs are really, they go with fashion. Some are just, a musical break into what we were just discussing. So if we're talking about heels, then we'll sing a song, I'm Still Standing. At the end of the night, I'm still standing, even my heels are killing me. I'm still standing, but I'm not standing. I don't like them. I'm going to take them off and just be comfortable, so that's,
What's the reaction from the audiences been like so far?
They love it. Sometimes we just have to wait for them to stop laughing in order to deliver the next line, because I think it's something that's never been done before, a discussion about what we wear. And there's a moment in the show where I say, please bring the house lights. Let's see what the audience is wearing. So I'm like an image consultant with Sharon, and we're just surveying what the audience is wearing. So it's actually just fun.
Ntambo, I feel like that's a little bit of a hint. So if you're going to go watch this performance, make sure you're wearing your Sunday best, just in case you don't make the crit.
Yes.
Amazing. And then I suppose if someone is wearing Crocs to the theatre, they might get extra points at this point.
Absolutely. For me, it's comfort. The only thing that I don't like, it's songs and, the whole socks and sandals vibe.
Yeah.
The baggy jeans, that for me, that personally, I just don't get it.
It's a no.
Especially when coming to the theatre.
It's a no from you, Ntambo.
No, come on.
Okay.
It's a no. It's a big no.
All right. Well, there you have it. The dress code. It's on at the Theatre on the Square in Sandton, and it's on till the 26th of May, 2023. So you still got some time to go watch it. We're going to put up all the details, all the information up on the SANDTONTimes.co.za. So if you want to go along, you can go and watch that. It sounds like a lot of fun. And as I say, make sure that you dress your best because you don't want to be caught out on the evening. Performer Ntambo Rapatla, I thank you for making the time to be on the SANDTON Times Hour.
Thank you so much, Alexander.
The best of talk and music in 1 hour. This is the SANDTON Times Hour.
All right, this is the SANDTON Times Hour, and let's talk about going on holiday. I know it seems like a bit of a strange thing to do, especially because it's winter. But yes, you can go on holiday. And we're not talking about a holiday to Europe, because that seems like the thing to do when it's summer. I'm talking about a holiday in South Africa, and not anywhere in South Africa, but to Cape Town. And it's a great time to go on holiday to Cape Town. And to talk to me about that is Gillian Kombora. She's the head of digital marketing at the Capital Hotel, Apartments and Resort. And Gillian, tell me a little bit more about this promotion that you guys are running to entice people to go to Cape Town on holiday during this time.
Absolutely. Cape Town in winter is the place to be. And I'll tell you why. This is like a travel hack, because the whole of Cape Town as a destination is really affordable in winter. You don't have the European tourists competing for access to the experiences, to accommodation. And us as a hotel group, we've decided to make it more affordable for South Africans to go to Cape Town in winter. So we've got amazing discounts at our 5-star luxury hotels, the Capital 15 on Orange and the Capital Mirage. But not only that, not only do we have the discounts, we've also curated itineraries that people can do on a budget. Because let's face it, right now times are really tight and everybody's trying to save those pennies.
Well, listen, I'm glad you've said all of that, because I mean, to hone into one of those points, Cape Town at the best of times is an expensive destination to go to for many South Africans. You're right. I mean, peak summer, you're paying through your nose to go to Cape Town. So to hear the fact that you're saying that it's way more affordable to go during winter is already a bonus. I mean, everything else aside, I mean, what a pleasure.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've slashed our rates. They used to be like 2,500 entry level, down to 1,800. But not only that, we've also gotten some discounts for people to go and enjoy certain experiences like the Two Oceans Aquarium. And we've also got discounts on our helicopter flip. So we've looked at a range of different experiences and say to people, really, this is the time for you to go. But it's not only about us. As a whole destination, all the restaurants, they're much emptier in winter and everybody is looking for business. So this is absolutely the best time for you to go to Cape Town.
Amazing. I mean, let's talk about those properties, because you're getting to stay in some really premium properties at a fraction of the price. You've got the Capital Mirage, which is, I think, your first established Cape Town property. But the newest kid on the block is the Capital 15 on Orange. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, the Capital 15 on Orange is amazing. Its location is really right next to Company Gardens. So you can go for a jog first thing in the morning and you come back to the rooms that are very modern. They've got amazing artwork in the rooms. And we've just recently launched an underground grotto spa. And it's a first in Cape Town, one of a kind.
Wow, it sounds amazing. I saw some pictures somewhere online, and it looks really enticing. I mean, nothing like getting into a spa, especially when you're on holiday. And then as well, this fantastic property, like you say, it's also, I think it's at the top of Long Street, so you're really in the buzz of Cape Town. You've got access to all these fantastic eateries. You're very central, and you're staying in the lap of luxury.
You're staying in the lap of luxury. It's 5-star, and you've got Kloof Street down the road. So you can go and, try different restaurants, because that's a foodie destination. But most importantly, even when you're in the hotel, there's a beautiful bar that you can go enjoy your drinks. And this Mangwanani spa that I'm speaking about has got a bar inside the spa, and it's called #Gowns Only, because it's a huge spa, and you've got sleeping pods in there. So you can go and take a nap. If you want to escape from the world, and you take a nap, you go for your spa treatment, then you have drinks. We've even hosted parties down in that spa. So it's really something you have to see for yourself. And it's dark and moody in terms of aesthetics. Normally spas are bright and beautiful, right? But this one is dark, moody. It's really to envelope you in a warm feeling that you're not going to get anywhere else. There's a fireplace in there. It is gorgeous. You just want to escape the world and never leave.
Jenny, I'm sold. So you mean you don't have to tell me anymore? I mean, like you said, I have to go see this for myself. But it sounds tremendous. To recap, you've got these fantastic specials going on at your 2 properties in Cape Town. I mean, people are getting this at an absolute song to go check out Cape Town. What dates are we talking about now? So when we're saying this is running as a promotion, from when till when?
Yes. From now until the 31st of August. But I mean, also what we've done is that we've partnered with Lift Airlines and NAC Helicopters. So we are also running a competition at the same time. So if you book accommodation at the Capital 15 on Orange or the Capital Mirage, and you book within those dates, you stand a chance to win a holiday worth 30,000 Rand. That price includes 2 nights stay at the Capital 15 on Orange, return flights on Lift, and a helicopter flip. I mean, what a flipping amazing price.
Absolutely. I mean, that sounds like a winter/Cape Town holiday your dreams are made of. I mean, how can you say no to that? The details of your competition will be up on your website. We're going to provide a link on our website. We're going to make sure that you don't miss this. So if you're listening to this right now and you're interested in this promotion or in this package, or you're even interested in entering the competition as well, you can do both. We're going to give you all the information and you can go check that out and make the best of it. Make the best of winter.
Yes, and absolutely. Another thing that differentiates the Capital is the fact that we have studios. Most hotels only have hotel rooms.
Yes.
We've got luxury studios, superior studios, and apartments. So if you wanted to go and, experience Cape Town at your own pace, you make use of kitchens, tumble dryers, laundry. You can actually do that from your room. So you actually get to cater for your stay. Self-catering, but in luxury.
Yeah, and you pioneered that concept to some extent in South Africa, this idea of having a mini apartment experience in a hotel room where you've got the luxury of a hotel room where people come and they make your bed and they make sure everything's clean and everything's sorted, but you've also got access to a microwave, and if you mess on your shirt during dinner because you were having such a splendid time, you can throw your t-shirt into a washing machine, get it cleaned, and look like a human the next day.
Yes, absolutely. We call it the best of both worlds. So we make sure that, I think in the world that we live today, people must have choice, and they must have choice in the way that they travel. A lot of people go, to Airbnbs, and it's the same concept. You've got an Airbnb, but that's got cleaning on site, and it's in a hotel environment.
Yeah.
So really, you're getting the best of both worlds.
Fantastic. So if you want to go down to Cape Town, you want to experience some of the hotels that you might not normally get to try out because you're thinking, you know what, it's a little bit of a stretch or everything else has cost me so much having to go to Cape Town under normal circumstances. Now you can go to Cape Town, do all the things you want to do, see all the things you want to see, stay in some beautiful properties that the capital has got down there. And as I say, if you want to go all the way into the competition, and you might get all of that at an absolute, 30,000 rands worth of value. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, if you can win that, I think you're going to have a tremendous time.
And I mean, 1,800 for a studio apartment is really in a 5-star hotel. That is such a bargain. So go now when you can, instead of in summer where it's packed and the service is slower. And there's so many amazing things that you can do that are affordable. When you go on the hop-on, hop-off bus, that allows you to see so many Cape Town attractions. And you do it at your own pace. You're not hurried to go fast.
Absolutely. Well, Gillian, you've said it all. It's been great having you on, and thanks for filling us in on this fantastic promotion. It's the Capital Hotel, Apartments and Resorts Head of Digital Marketing, Gillian Kombora, joining me there on the SANTON Times Hour.
Thanks for having me, and let's see you at the capital.co.za.
From Greater Sandton to the rest of the world, this is the SANTON Times Hour.
The other day I popped down to Nickelway in Bryanston, and if you haven't been there, it's a fantastic shopping centre, and it's always busy. There's always stuff going on. They've got some fantastic shops there, got some great eateries there, and one of those eateries I had the pleasure of going to and sampling their goods is Ukkō. And if you haven't been to Ukkō, it's a fantastic little restaurant. They've got, firstly, they've got fantastic decor. I mean, if you go there, it looks, it's pleasing to the eye. But they've got a really great menu, and they've also launched a couple of new cocktails on their cocktail menu. So if you're into cocktails, it's the place to go. If you're into sushi, it's the place to go check out. They've got some wonderful sushi, and then they've got a whole bunch of other things on their menu. But to talk about this and more is the owner, Mun Manal. He is the man who started Ukkō Restaurant. And Mun, it's great to have you on the SANTON Times Hour.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Well, Mun, before we get into all the delicious parts, let's talk about your restaurant career. How did you get to starting Ukkō?
Starting in my career, I've been in the restaurant industry for over 23 years now. A funny story is I got into the restaurant industry out of desperation. It was never something that was a passion at the beginning. 2 decades later, and your desperation turns into a passion, and it would be a waste to waste all this time and having gained an extensive knowledge and expertise in that field to let it go to waste. So here I am 23 years later, and I'm still in the restaurant business. Getting into the current restaurant, I've been with a group for over 14 years that operated in Mediterranean cuisine also. Obviously, after COVID has hit everybody, we've experienced the closure of multiple stores. And in the beginning of 2021, I have left the group, and we found the group basically liquidating the stores, and we had to move on. I had enough time to think it through and just come up with a concept that would work. And doing that concept during the toughest times we've experienced in South Africa or globally, I had no choice but to do it alone at that time where people were scared, saving money, closing stores, diversifying their investments. Here I am opening a massive restaurant, and definitely it's not the kind of business that people want to invest in at those days. And here we are. We kick in and we're running better than ever.
Well, I mean, it is always tremendous to see that you are busy, that you have people coming back. I mean, you've also won a couple of awards now ever since you've started. But let's quickly just touch on the name Ukkō. That's also got a bit of a story behind it as well.
The Ukkō, the actual pronunciation of the name is Ukkō. The U pronounced with a slight A. Ukkō from Akkonen. Akkonen is a Finnish word, means the old god of thunder. It's from the gods' mythology. It's the Finnish version of the gods' mythology, similar to Zeus and Thor and all of that. So it comes from Akkonen, and we've taken the first 4 letters of that as a naming convention for our stores. And it's very unique name, and it's very rare, and it's very catchy. That's where the name comes from. The name and the name and the background of the restaurants, it does not relate to the food in any way. The type of food that we serve, it's purely Mediterranean, Asian tapas and cuisine. So it doesn't relate to the name in any way.
Do you think that's sort of part of the secret, what has made the restaurant so popular, that South Africans have a general taste for Mediterranean food, sushi, a lot of the stuff that you have on the menu?
To be honest with you, I can say our food is good. People can testify to that. I would like to believe our food is good.
Absolutely.
But it goes beyond that. I really believe it goes beyond that. The way we present the food, the way you serve it, I think it's a combination. It's not only the taste of the food. You could go to places that have fantastic, amazing food that you don't get anywhere else, but people do not frequent these places because it's missing the important element. I believe there's an element in the store that is food, service, ambience, and aesthetics. And if you deliver on all these elements equally and perfectly, you will have a winning formula. Most operators believe the winning formula is a recipe on the food, and I tend to disagree on that. It's not only the food, it's the environment that you create. I believe, in my opinion, providing good food and good service, it's not enough these days to have someone good food and good service. It's about how people feel. It's about the hospitality.
Yeah.
From the minute you walk into the door until you leave, it's about how you make a patron feel when they walk in and when they leave. When you walk out feeling amazing, you walk out feeling that you've been taken care of, you walk out feeling it was value for money and it's a wow. If you don't feel this way, even if the food doesn't, nothing wrong with it and the service is okay, it is not enough. I think in the hospitality industry, we need to go way beyond just good food and service. Good food, good service is not enough anymore. We need to go beyond that.
Well, you've certainly gotten that blend or that mix right of all those elements. And you're also constantly updating your menu, be it drinks, be it food. What are some of the highlights of some of the things that you've recently added to your offering?
The current menu, so the type of restaurants we're in right now, Alex, it's not the type of restaurants where we're able to change menus every few months or every 6 months. Mm-hmm. It's a tapas, it's an everyday food. It's not a specialized chef restaurant. It's an everyday food. When you operate in this kind of concept, your menu becomes the DNA of your store and it's part of the success of your business. So it wouldn't be advisable to chop and change menu items throughout the year all the time. However, you need to add some items that may be suitable for winter period, summer period. Some items that are not people's favorites, you take out of the menu, you put something else and you try. You have to chop and change minimum items on the menu. But if 90% of your menu works, and that's why people return. So a lot of people return for specific items on the menu. However, we do look into the menu and review our wine list, our cocktail list, our menu every 3 months to see the sales on items, to see how people respond to certain items. And it's been a fun journey, and it's been very interesting seeing how people react to certain things on the menu, how certain items sell more than the others just purely because it's presented in a certain way, or the minute you mention a certain ingredients, people just go for it. So most of the changes that was done currently, it was on the cocktail menu and the wine list. We have included a wide variety of boutique South African wines. I'm very big on the South African wines, and more than 90% of the menu is actually local South African wines. We try and go with the small farms, very boutique-y, a lot of vintage or limited edition wines that's on the menu. That's very attractive to our clientele. In terms of the cocktails, we work with one of the top well-known mixologists in South Africa, and they have a global experience. Our mixologists that we consult and work with, they actually attend bar and mixology events and courses all around the world. And basically they go out there and they see what's offering around the world, and they come back with amazing ideas that we can add to the menu that the South African market might not be exposed to. And this is part of the hype and the success and part of the interest from the market into our cocktails. Our cocktails are Instagrammable. Literally every single cocktail that comes out of that bar, you'll see someone sitting on the table and taking a a video of it or taken a picture and they post it on Instagram. It's just beautiful. It's pretty. It's Instagrammable. It's the way it's presented. It's just amazing.
Well, if that's whet your taste bud, go have a look at the Nickelway Shopping Centre. The restaurant is called Ukkō Restaurant. I got the pronunciation correct now. And we'll put all the details up on the SANTONTimes.co.za. And make a plan to go visit them, especially now over winter. Geez, it's a great time to go and indulge in some of the richer foods that you probably wouldn't try during summer. And owner Mun Manal, thank you so much for joining me on the Santon Times Hour.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me.
We've got a quick musical break, and we'll be right back with the show after this.
Follow the Santon Times on social media.
At Santon Times.
You're listening to the Santon Times Hour on Mix 93.8, and it was Altego and Bling Bling, taking us into the final minutes of this week's edition. And a choir that we spoke to a couple of months ago, I think it was towards the end of last year, they had plans of going to Italy and performing there. It's the Johannesburg Queer Chorus, also known as JQC. And, the news is that they are going. They were raising money. I think they got it right. And they're now off to the Various Voices Festival in Bologna, Italy, which is your hometown, Vincenzo. How cool is that? I'm sure you'd like to go along. Well, they're going to be doing one last performance, one night only, at the Deutsche Internationale Schule, also known as the German School of Johannesburg, on the 4th of June. It's called The Road We Travel. And to chat to me about this is Andrea Shine. She's the performance manager, and Darren Meltz is the chairperson of the choir. And I thank both of you for joining me on the Santon Times Hour. Are you excited?
Hugely excited, Alex. An international tour for a choir as young as ours is no mean feat, and we've been furiously rehearsing. And as you said, this is our chance to showcase what we're going to be doing to a local audience before we go. So the excitement is immense.
Andrea, you are the performance manager. This must be a bit of a logistical nightmare to have to try and get a whole choir to Italy.
Yes, it always is. But you know what? We've got the most unbelievable team, and everyone rallies together to make things happen. You know, that's the power of a community, and we get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did such a great performance at the end of last year. I think it was around Christmas time. So there was a bit of some festive song in there as well. And it was I think it was, you had it in a community hall or a church, and it was really tremendous. And I'm really keen to see what you guys are going to be doing in the aula at the Deutsche Internationale Schule. Tickets are 100 Rand, and the doors open at 5:30 p.m. And people can book online. I'm going to put all the details up on the SANTONTimes.co.za. Tell me, what can people expect from this performance? I mean, as I say, it's a bit of a preamble to your performance in Italy.
It's a little bit of everything. Hey, we've got some local music, showcasing some of South Africa's music, because we are actually the only African choir attending this festival, which is quite exciting. So we're going to represent. But in terms of the concert on the 4th, it's quite a varied program. So as I said, anything from the African material to a little bit of classical stuff, musical theatre. We've got some pop stuff. There's basically something for everybody.
Amazing. And Darren, you were mentioning to me that you are not only just performing at the festival, there's also a little bit of a preamble to this in Rome.
Yes, Alex, that's correct. We've got a concert that's happening in Rome with the Roma Rainbow Choir, as well as two other choirs. Their names escape me at the moment, and we're having a combined concert with them. And we've been putting together a song, "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, which the arrangement has been sent to us, and we're working on it. And the other three choirs together, and then we're going to mash it together in a rehearsal when we get there, and we're all going to perform together.
Well, that sounds exciting. That sounds like something really, really special. How long is the performance going to be on the 4th of June? This the one in Johannesburg.
So we're looking at 2 sets. There'll be an interval in between, and each set's probably going to run about 35 to 40 minutes.
Amazing. And is this like a last drive to raise some additional funds for the trip to Italy, or are you pretty much set? Are you organised?
We're pretty much set for Italy, but look, we're always looking at raising funds for the choir because it's a community-based choir. We're constantly relying on members' fees and then donations from the public, and whatever we raise with ticket sales for the general running of the choir. It's not just a case of everyone getting together every week and singing. We've got to pay for the rights for music, pay for sheet music, copies, we pay venue hire. We've got a lot of running expenses, our pianist, our musical director. So yeah, all that money is just going into keeping the choir going.
Darren, I mean, I know last time we spoke, you were mentioning that the choir is growing and you're always looking for new members. And I mean, anyone who thought they're getting a quick trip to Italy, I think that ship has sailed. But if anyone else wants to join the choir, what opportunities are there to get involved post Italy?
When we come to the beginning of our new season, which will be early in July, it's probably going to be the first Tuesday of July, we will be doing vocal assessments. So if anybody is keen, they can always drop us an email on Johannesburg Queer Chorus at gmail.com, and they can book a vocal assessment and then come through and join us.
Fantastic. Well, listen, guys, we're going to put up...
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome. Okay, well, there you have it. Guys, we're going to put those details up on the SANTON today, as well as the details for the road we travel. This one night only performance on the 4th of June at the Deutsche Internationale Schule. 100 Rand gets you in. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. And if we don't chat before that, I wish you guys all the very best on your trip to Italy, and I look forward to hearing how things go once you're back. I'm sure you'll knock their socks off and bring a bit of Africa to the Italian shores. And that's it for another SANTON Times Hour on Mix 93.8, and is always available as a podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. If you want to get in touch, you can email editor@santontimes.co.za or connect on social media @SANTON Times and visit the website www.santontimes.co.za. Feel free to send through your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your input. All of it is welcome. Thank you to all our guests who made time to be on the show this week, as well as Vincenzo. Thank you for being behind the control desk again and doing your bit in making us sound good. Thank you to the SANTON Times team, as well as everyone at Mix 93.8. And thank you for listening. And let's connect again next week.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to the SANTON Times Hour. And if you enjoyed it, be sure to share it.